Hello students, welcome to the continued part of the notes of the gardener. How does the reference to Russia and America provide another dimension to the story? The narrator here refers to Russia and America, the relationship between Russia and America, while telling about human nature. So, how does the reference to Russia and America provide another dimension? In what manner or what context he uses the reference of Russia and America? The gardener presents the story of two farmers who get actively involved in rivalry, and each one tries to overtake the other in earnings, wealth, and social prestige. But at one point, Basavaya takes recourse to force and forcibly occupies a part of Tamana's landholdings. Until then, both of them had tried to upstage the other using tangible means. But now, Tamanna realizes the limitations of muscle power and so uses his intellect to unleash a strategy by which he wishes to annihilate Basavaya completely. He gets all his bitter experiences with Basavaya composed in the form of ballads and songs and sings them in public. Thus, Tamanna tries to give a fitting reply to Basavaya's use of physical force, and so their fight takes a psychological dimension. From visible means, it takes an invisible means. Basavaya fails to match up to the manipulatory tactics of Tamanna and shrinks in humiliation. However, he tries to console his wounded pride. See that he uses the word wounded pride by indulging in luxurious living. Somehow he has to come out of that humiliation, and so he tries to gain all the material wealth and show Tamanna that he is no less than him, and he starts living a luxurious life. No matter what he does not succeed in upstaging Tamanna. It is at this stage higher forces play their own role. Tamanna falls ill and Basavaya enjoys psychologically telling himself that Tamanna's disease is Basavaya's health. This way, keep himself happy. So, here the story has now passed from the physical dimension to the psychological dimension. At this stage, Tamanna comes out with another plan. He plans to use something beyond man's life. Tamanna thinks that as long as Basavaya knows that he is alive, Basavaya will continue to take him as his rival. So, Tamanna hits on an idea which works at a level higher than the physical and psychological level. His plan is to beat Basavaya on another plane, which is beyond man's limits. He knows for sure that if Basavaya comes to think that Tamanna is dead, Basavaya will stop treating him as his rival. Tamanna goes away to Channarayapatna and spreads the news that Tamanna is dead. It is sheer coincidence that Basavaya dies a natural death. Since Basavaya had taken Tamanna as his serious rival, now when he comes to know that Tamanna died, he did not have any reason to live, and so he dies a natural death. This incident brings him back to his senses and he reflects over his life. Now, after the death of Basavaya, Tamanna has become a non entity. Now, Tamanna also had a reason to lead his life, to live his life. He was living his life, his name and fame was there only because of Basavaya. Now, when Basavaya was no more, Tamanna became a non entity. When he reflects over their mutual game plans, Tamanna realizes that man invents several reasons to make his life meaningful. He also realizes that man can go on indulging in whims and fancies until a certain age only. All this jealousy, revenge, all these, these remain only till a certain age. Later, when the man comes to confront reality, he comes to see the truth. Then he becomes spiritual. That is when a man realizes his limitations. At one point of time in life, man realizes his limitations, whether it is muscle power, physical limitations, psychological limitations. He realizes them and he becomes spiritual. That means he surrenders himself to God. That is when a man realizes his limitations. Thus, we see the plot taking several dimensions from physical to psychological and then to spiritual. But this story also takes another dimension. Earlier, stories that used to focus on man's vices like cruelty, meanness, greed, jealousy, rivalry, etc., used to be portrayed on a smaller canvas, and stories used to be confined to people living in towns, cities, and kingdoms. We have also seen such stories uh, featuring on animals and birds, like in Panchatantra. Those stories used to be of animals and birds, but they had an impact on human life. We are now in the postmodern society, and the common man is now being influenced by global forces. In traditional societies, solutions to man's mundane existential problems used to be found logically. A king or a lord or a chieftain or a zamindar used to dispense justice. But this story is situated in a postmodern society. When Basavaya acquires Tamanna's land forcibly, Tamanna's followers offer three solutions: seek the help of the police, to seek a legal solution, or take recourse to muscle power. The three strategies suggested by Tamanna's followers saturate this story in the postmodern scenario. Their thinking exhibits a modern world where police, law court, and mafia exist. Even at the national and international levels, big countries like Russia and America follow such strategies. The fact that Tamanna makes a reference to Russia and America is only a hint by the author that the problems of man in the modern society cannot be confined to the war between virtues and vices of the yesteryears, but man's problems are complex and are reflected at the global level also. Similarly, when Tamanna makes a reference to Russia's declaration to America that America is not their enemy and she will never wage war. She here refers to Russia. Uh, She will never wage war against America. It is only a strategy by the writer to suggest that Tamanna and Basavaya belong to postmodern society. Hope you understood the reference of Russia and America here. One can also infer that a literary artist in the modern world cannot be blind to man's problems in general and try to suggest solutions at a local level. Man's problems are deep rooted and have implications at different levels. Man's problems go beyond a nation, and though problems of human society are the same, they assume different dimensions as human society becomes more and more complex every day. Thank you.